Pokemon Ultimate Adventures by Mikazuki. Ash dashed through the hall. Further ahead, he could see a door, slightly open, with light coming through it. This had to be it. Ash didn't waste any time with stealth. He kicked it right open and ran through. "Misty!" he yelled, and stopped running. Looking around, he saw he was standing in the middle of a stage. There were rows upon rows of seats, but it was completely deserted. There were spotlights shining down on the stage, and some of them were moving slowly. He squinted as one of them shone in his face. It moved away, and as it continued to move, it came across a dark figure. As the spotlight moved across it, he could see who it was. It was Misty. Ropes were tied around her arms, and she was hanging from a rope that protruded from the ceiling. Her eyes were closed, and she wasn't moving. He immediately felt pain, sadness, and anger. "Took you long enough to get here," someone said in a nasty, mocking tone. Out of the shadows stepped a figure. Doppelganger started laughing, and Ash growled. "You should see your face!" Doppelganger pointed at him, and then looked up at Misty hanging from the high ceiling. "Oh, don't worry. She's alive. I'm not the type of guy to harm a defenseless girl." He turned back to Ash. "It's you I want." Ash glared at him. "I'm sorry, but you're not my type," he said sarcastically. "Oh, so you find this funny, huh?" Doppelganger spoke in an annoyed tone. "Well, how about this?" He pulled out a knife. Ash took a fighting stance. "Fighting with weapons now? Well, go ahead. You got yours?" His hand reached for a Pokeball. "And I got mine!" Under the hood, Doppelganger smiled. "Oh, that's not what I had in mind." He spun around and pulled away a curtain, revealing many ropes. He slashed one with a knife, and from the ceiling, a large sandbag fell down. "What?" Ash quickly dove out of the way, and the bag missed him, barely. Doppelganger smiled and slashed another rope, causing another one to fall, and another. Ash kept crying out and jumping out of the way of each one. Usually, this many sandbags don't hang from the ceiling, but in my theater, I find it adds some nice effects, wouldn't you say? Yeah! Ash yelled and charged at Doppelganger from the other side of the stage. Doppelganger spun and hacked another rope, one after the other. One fell downwards, but Ash moved to the left as he continued to sprint towards Doppelganger. Another fell towards Ash, but he jumped diagonally to the right, missing it as he continued to dash. Ash was almost there, just a few more meters. Doppelganger shook his head and motioned Ash to stop. He had the knife to another rope. He pointed up to Misty hanging from the ceiling. Ash stopped, and he was just a few feet away from him, his fists only a few inches, but the knife was touching the rope. "Go ahead! Hit me! Then your lady love is gonna come crashing down!" Doppelganger laughed. Ash growled. Pikachu was on his shoulder and sparking. They didn't know if Doppelganger would really do such a thing, but they weren't going to risk Misty's life just to find out. "Whatever happened to you not being the type of guy to harm a defenseless girl?" Doppelganger shrugged. "There's a fine line between harming and sacrificing, especially if it has to do with my personal safety. Now, Romeo, if you don't want her splattered all over the floor, I suggest you back off." Ash spat. "You're afraid to fight me! That's why you're hiding behind her back!" "No, I'm not afraid," Doppelganger sneered. "You know I could easily beat you. If you try to fight me this time, it'll be the same back there. I have no interest in simply breaking your body. I'm going to keep on tormenting you till you lose your mind." Up in the air, hanging from the ceiling, Misty's eyes opened. Looking left and right, she groaned miserably. She just remembered the situation she was in. Then she heard voices. She looked down and saw the person who'd kidnapped her, and... "Ash?" she said weakly. Down on the ground, Ash growled, but did as he was told. He backed off and dropped to his knees. "Please, she didn't do anything to you! She's got nothing to do with this! Just let her go!" he pleaded. "I'm the one you want! so just don't hurt her! Up in the air, Misty had heard what he just said. Ash? He's risking himself? For me? She felt her heart beating. Doppelganger muttered, then turned to Ash. Quit whining and stand up. Ash got up. Now, I could just slice this rope and finish her off right away. Or I could just let her go and enjoy revenge on you. I pick... He turned to the left and kicked a switch. The floor underneath Ash opened up, and both he and Pikachu fell into the deep, dark hole. Both! He sliced another rope, causing one to fall from the ceiling and into the pit. There was a large crash. I know that won't finish you off, but it'll make sure you don't go anywhere until I get everything I need. And don't worry about your lady love here. You'll be seeing her soon. He continued to laugh as the trapdoor closed. Ash! Misty cried in shock and fainted. Things look very bad. How are our heroes going to escape from this? And where are Brock and Ebby? Find out next time on Pokemon Ultimate Adventures. If you have any comments or suggestions, I'll gladly listen to anything you might have. To be continued.